Hello and welcome. Today I've got a really great video for you guys. It's a little bit math heavy and a bit comprehensive, so I'm going to put annotations for where you can skip around to the parts you want to see. For those of you who are anti-math, I recommend you skip the mathematical breakdown. If you want to skip to the end, I suppose that's fine too. Though I'd prefer if you watch so that way you can understand how the method works and the underpinning fundamental qualities of it. So this video will show you how to get upwards of 10 mil an hour. We got around 10 mil an hour on this video, but that's just one sample. I've gotten upwards of 20 mil an hour, and I've also gotten as low as 5 mil an hour. But the money method is pretty consistent, and it's been around for a decade at least. That's to say it was in RS2 as well. I assume you're probably thinking, what? 10 mil an hour? Theater of Blood's only like 8 mil an hour, and that's the best. My friend who's Max told me so, and I'm gonna believe him over some random guy on YouTube. I am leaving. Well, for those of you who are still here, you're right, Theater of Blood is great GP per hour. However, this is better. It's actually a somewhat esoteric money-making method, which is why no one knows about it. Don't get me wrong, there are people who know about it, however most people don't. I made a superficial version of this video on my UAM Loki progress series. I'll link that in the description in case somehow that will provide more value for anybody. So I always thought it was kind of shallow to ask for likes or subscribes, so with that I'll just go ahead and say, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. We got a good one for you. The only requirements for this method is roughly 5 to 10 mil gold, although it would be much easier if you had much more, and membership. It's very beneficial if you were to have 2 or more accounts. These additional accounts don't require membership because the items you're going to be buying are free to play. The last requirement is arguably not even a requirement, it's access to RuneScape Mobile. It's important to note that one of the major drawbacks of this method is that it's time gated by the GA limit restrictions. We ended up making enough to see about a 40 mil profit within the time it takes for a bond to expire. Yes, that's 40 mil in 2 weeks, in less than 4 hours of work. So in order to understand this video, you have to understand a couple basic things. As I'm sure many of you know, there is an item called an Onyx. The Tazar Her Lex Ore in Gem Store in Tazar stocks 1 Onyx per minute eternally. The Onyx is valued at 300,000 tokel, unless you equip the Karemja Gloves 1 or higher, in which case it is reduced to 260,000 tokel. Currently, the Fury is worth 2.6 mil coincidentally, which is 10 times 260,000. It's sort of unusual that that's the case, but here we are. This essentially means that 1 tokel is worth 10 GP, right? Now, with that in mind, let's say you happen to have 100,000 Chaos Runes because you went and did a bunch of Barrows chests, or you did Zalcano before it got nerfed, which is something we'll get into in a minute, and you want to sell your Chaos Runes on the GE because you want the money instead of the Chaos Runes. I don't blame you, but I'm here to tell you, wait a minute, there could be a better way to go about this. So here we are in the Tazar Rune Shop, and as you can see, we have some Chaos Runes, which sell for 9 tokel each. So we could sell our Chaos Runes on the Grand Exchange for 83 GP each, or there's another way you can do it. As you can see, someone, or perhaps a bunch of people, maybe even a bot farm, I do know that bot farms indeed do use this money-making method because it's very profitable. They have sold nearly 2.6 million Chaos Runes to the shop for tokel. So, we know that these Chaos Runes on the GE would fetch 16.6k, right? And we know that 1 tokel is worth 10 GP. So if 1 tokel is worth 10 GP, and we just got 1800 tokel for those 200 Chaos Runes, we know that this is 18k, right? And we can buy them on the Grand Exchange for 16.6k, which means we just made 1.4k in like 2 seconds. Now, imagine doing this for 100,000 Chaos Runes. What about 1 million Chaos Runes? Let's say 2.6 million Chaos Runes. Then what? Well, since you're making 7 GP per Chaos Rune, 1 million Chaos Runes would get you 7 mil. 10 million Chaos Runes would get you 70 mil. It's pretty much as simple as that. Now, in case you're skeptical about all of this, I have here the graph, the price graph for the Chaos Rune, the historical graph. So, as you can see, this graph goes back to May 2019. Here, on July 25th, 2019, the price of Chaos Runes crashed significantly, trading from 90 going all the way down to 62. That's a 33% crash in the price. The reason for this is because as the Chaos Rune price crashed, bots would accumulate the cheap Chaos Runes and sell them to the rune shop, get Tokel, buy the Onyx with the Tokel, and then sell the Onyx back on the market. In February 2020, we saw the rebalancing of the Zalcano drop table, which saw the increase in the price of Chaos Runes. As you can see, the price of the Fury directly correlates to the price of the Chaos Rune. This is why people were complaining about Zalcano being overpowered in terms of his drops, because the price of the Fury dropped as a result of his drop table, trading from around 3 mil all the way down to 1.8 mil. But now, since the rebalancing of his drop table, the price of the Fury has recovered. Now that we've gotten through all the details, I'm going to address one more thing before getting into the method. As you can see, on February 20th, 2020, the amount of mithril, gold, and silver ore as drops has also been reduced. They also removed the drop of Chaos Runes, which they didn't include in the blog changes. So this is going to be a voiceover recording. As you can see, this is a method that I normally do while I'm playing on my 2 other projects. My Iron Man's getting 99 prayer, and my Ultimate Iron Man is just training some thieving. And I'm on my 2 alts doing just setting them both up so we can maximize the amount of silver ore, myth ore, and chaos runes. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. All we're doing is we're buying 156,000 myth ore, silver ore, and chaos runes, which is what you can get within 48 hours due to GE limits. So that way we can sell them to the shop, use the Tokel to buy Onyx, and then sell the Onyx back on the market. So this is going to be the mathematical breakdown for those of you who want a more comprehensive explanation, or for those of you who just like math like me. So this is April 10th, 2020. We have the Fury costing roughly 2.6 mil, silver ore. The GE cost is 59, myth ore, the GE cost is 146, chaos runes is 76. The price we can get for it if we exchange it for Tokel and trade it for an Onyx for silver ore is 69, which means that per unit of silver ore we gain 10 GP. That's a 17% gain. So, you know, if you got 10 mil, now you've got 11.7 mil. The GP per unit on the myth ore is 13.5, and the GP per unit of chaos rune is 13. The GE limit for all of these is as stated. The profit you can make per 4 hours, that would be if you bought 13,000 silver ore at 59 GP each, traded it for Tokel and used the Tokel to buy an Onyx and got 70 each, you would profit 140k. If you did that, if you let the GE offer sit in there all day for 13,000 silver ore times 6 cycles of 4 hours is 24 hours, you'd be profiting 843k. If we go down to myth ore, the profit per day is 1 mil 58k, and if we go down to chaos runes, the profit is 990k. If you use all 3 of these methods, you max out your GE limits for all of them at these costs, and you get this for it, assuming all of this stays static, which it will fluctuate as it does. But you could expect to get, this is 2.9 mil per day. Now, if you were to let your offer sit in there for 2 weeks, which is the time it takes for a bond to run out, you'd be getting 40 mil. And the prices of bonds right now are roughly 4 mil, so that's 10 bonds earned in the span of 1 bond. That's a 10-to-1 ratio, boys. So here is just a couple of details on the Onyx. It costs 260k with Karemja Gloves 1. The Chaos Runes sell to the shop for 9 Tokel. The Silver Ore sells to the shop for 7 Tokel. The Mithril Ore sells to the shop for 16 Tokel. Now, this is a kind of an interesting thing. It takes 28,889 Chaos Runes to buy an Onyx, right? Now, if we take 28,889 and we multiply it by 76, that means we're effectively buying a Fury for 2.195 mil, right? And the current cost of the Fury is 2.6 mil, right? So the only way that this would lose money buying Chaos Runes for 76 each would be if the Fury crashes from 2.6 mil to 2.2 mil. Anything above that, if the Fury stays above that, you're profiting. And if the Fury drops to 2.2 mil, say over the course of a week, you're at break even. You lose nothing and you gain nothing. The Silver Ore, same deal. It costs 37,142 silver ore for an Onyx. And if you're buying them at 59, that's effectively buying a Fury at 2.2 mil. And the Mithril ore is the worst of all of them currently. It would be considered buying a Fury at 2.372 mil. All of those are in profit because the Fury is currently trading at 2.53 mil. So this is going to be how long it takes to sell off all of the items that we bought. I'm just curious what the GP per hour ends up being if you include the time to buy the items from the GE, the time to sell the items to the shop, and the time spent walking in between. So I set a timer. I'm doing this on mobile because on mobile you can do one click sell 50, so you don't have to right click. So that's half as many clicks, so that's pretty useful. And yeah, so we're going to speed it up and see how long it takes. I'll leave the So we're back at the Grand Exchange with all of our Onyxes. The price per Onyx went up a bit from when we started. They're pretty volatile right now, so it's best to sell them off as soon as you get them. So they're at 2.7 mil each, which means 16.1 mil. Plus we have this 238k total. That's roughly, 9/10 of a Fury. So we'll include that in the final price analysis, which is right now. So 6.903 Onyxes is how many we bought. The price per Onyx was 2.697 mil. Up here we have how much we spent. We just did that off camera, but we bought this many silver ore for this cost, and so we have total what we spent was 15.7 mil, and our revenue was 18.6 mil. If you take that total profit, you get 2.8 mil. Since it took us roughly 14 minutes, we just rounded it up to 15 minutes because that's 1/4 of an hour. So we made 2.8 mil in 15 minutes, and if you look at that per hour, that's 11.5 mil an hour, which is, possibly the best money per hour in the game.